Hello, welcome everyone to this week's video tutorial. This will be board number 31 from Dubious positions and how to attack them. Now, again, this will be a central cannon versus greenhouse defense opening system. And without further ado, let us begin. Central cannon, proper horse, foul chariot, 7th path advancement, likewise. And instead of developing the chariot, red would choose to develop his left flank. This would be known as the 7th horse variation, screen horse, and rank chariot. That consolidates his defense, and in this variation, red would choose to attack with the Riverbank Cannon. Now, usually R1 equals to 4 is played, and it will lead to many complicated positions and situations. Now, in this board, red will try to offer some will try to attack in this manner. Now, if R1 equals to 4 were played, black would usually develop this chariot, then the riverbank, followed by pushing the horse to the external file, p5 equals to 7, and black would now start his attack on this flank. Now, this is one possible variation. So with p with c8 plus 2, red will be prepared to trade pawns. Now, let's say black made a move, red will offer a trade of pawns and be prepared to add pressure on this file, on the elephant and the black horse, give this horse open line for development, and also allow the chariot for this for development as a foul chariot. So this is one of the many ways the Riverbank Cannon is used in Xiangqi. So at this point in time, black made a dubious move of c8 equals to 9 to give his chariot an open line. Now it might seem natural to do so, but this was not imperative at this point in time because red had already developed his right chariot as a rank chariot. So basically this file would be black's for the taking. So this can be viewed as a wasted move by black, where it would allow red to attack more efficiently. And usually h7 plus 6 is played to allow the horse to control the central file, and this would lead to many complicated situations. And since black did not push h7 plus 6, red would play h7 plus 6 to control this focal point. Now, black tries to play out, black toughens up his defense on the central file, preparing to play r1 equals to 4. And red would not allow this, so he switched formations by playing c5 equals to 6. Now, it might appear that red would have lost tempo in the process by moving the cannon 2 times to the palace corner. However, black's defense on the central file was already thick enough, and it will be any attack on the central file will be more or less fruitless. So instead, red showed much flexibility with c5 equals to 6, preventing the chariot from developing and also allowing him to adjust his formation. This is a commonly used tactic. And in this board, black played p1 plus 1. Now the main idea was to play r1 plus 3 to protect this pawn rank. Now a more reliable counter would be to play r8 plus 3. Red moves the elephant, and black would now protect his pawn rank, which is very important in this situation, as best as it can. It will be a very slow paced and standoffish game at this point. And seeing that black played p1 plus 1, red made a very interesting, exciting move of offering a trade or sacrificing a pawn in this situation. This would also be the position of discussion. Now, if red played e7 plus 5, which would be more of a habitual move, black would be able to play r1 plus 3, and red's opportunity to attack would have fleeted away. since there are two main variations, the first variation will be, um, sorry, the first variation will be P1 plus 1. At this point in time, black would now have two main variations, sorry. The first will be P1 plus 1, and the second will be C2 equals to 1. And this will be the topics of discussion for this board. So in variation A, red will make a very interesting move by linking his chariots up on this edge file. Now this is a continuation of the pawn sacrifice. And black would now protect the pawn rank. Now the pawn cannot capture the cannon, or it will be a immediate check, and black will gain a lot of momentum. Now, perhaps an interesting question will be, can black play c2 equals to 1 for a skewer? So, this was not mentioned in the book, but I think this is quite an interesting position. Unfortunately, there's no discussion on over here. Now, if this was so, red will probably capture the pawn, and since the elephant had not moved, there will be no check. So if, let's say, black played if black captured the chariot, red will deliver a check, and then retreat to capture and thus gain material. He will have an extra cannon. So C8 plus 3 was I8 plus 3 was played, capturing the pawn, and black refused to trade chariots. Now this move was more or less played out of desperation, because if he did not, black's right flank would be even more empty. It consolidates defense. Black tries to trade pawns. Now it would not be a good idea to play p5 plus 1 over now, because red would simply play r plus 1, advance the chariot in front, and threaten to capture the pawn. Black would have a hard time trying to play this position. p7 plus 1, trade of pawns, and then red traded another pawn just to try to gain momentum. As mentioned earlier, the cannon will now be attacking, threatening with a spotted cannon checkmate. So black would have to use another move to retreat and protect the elephant. And at this point in time, red will finally develop his chariot with r9 equals to 8, and red would have a huge advantage. Now in variation B, c2 equals to 1 was played, so that if red would not dare to capture the pawn, or he would lose the chariot. Now the line of thinking behind this move was that black was attempting to slow or halt red's attack. This would be a much better move than playing p1 plus 1, and it was expedient at this point in time. Red pounced on opportunity, and black could only move his cannon away. Now this would not be as good as playing c1 plus 3. Okay, c1 plus 3, because red would be placed under more restraint. Now c1 r1 equals to 7. Red would now have concentrated 5 major pieces attacking this flank. And this was a very accurate judgment of the situation as red would prepare to attack. Black tries to protect his pawn rank and also threaten the horse. p7 plus 1, threatening to capture the cannon, protecting the cannon. Finally, black gets to move the pawn across the river, but red will now attack very ferociously with this move. r2 equals to 4, and after a few moves, we can see that red will have a lot of space attacking. This pawn was prepared to charge, and black was placed in a predicament. Now, what the lesson to be learned in this board was this move, whereby black would play c8 equals to 9 to give this chariot. Because as can be seen in both variations, this chariot would not be able to do much. So giving it an open line would seem unnecessary and would actually allow red to mount an attack. So let us view this board in the eyes of black. Central cannon, and red chooses to develop the flank, left flank, instead of playing 1 plus 1, etc. Green horse, rank chariot, consolidating the defense. c8 plus 2 to the Riverbank Cannon. c8 equals to 9, not a very necessary, not a very important move. 7 plus 6, a4 plus 5, and red will now control and prevent the chariot from moving. p1 plus 1, p9 plus 1, and this will be the situation on hand. So p1 plus 1, red links the chariots up, black protects the pawn rank, black refuses to trade chariots, but this is he'll be in a very, still be in a very awkward position. Now p5 plus 1 be a good idea to prevent this from happening. That's what we know, because we will now play move the chariot in front to capture the central pawn. So p7, after trading material, red goes for another trade. Again, threatening the elephant, and we can see that red would have a huge advantage in terms of space and momentum. So if you have liked the work that I've been doing, please do subscribe to my channel and give this video a thumbs up. Thank you.